Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at the final lesson. This is the exercise for this course, and this is the final lesson of today. So I'll quickly run through the exercise. And then you can give it a try. So this one, we're starting with an existing workspace, and I will paste the path of that into the chat. So I'm going to open up an existing workspace. And let's run this and see what we have. So we have 80 features. We want to write them out to parks, and we want this to be sorted by park name alphabetically. If we inspect the source here, we can see that the data is not currently sorted, and we have a lot of missing values. Going through the sorter, it's sorting missing as being first, and that's not what we want. We want all the features that are missing a park name to be at the end of the list. We want them to be last, not first. But there isn't really an option within the sorter to push the features that are missing a value down to the bottom. It's going to end up at the top regardless. So we want to clean up these values. We also want to be able to sort so that anything that's null or missing a value will be at the very end. So we can do this by adding a null attribute mapper. And we're going to map, we could map the selected ones. We could actually map everything, deal with it that way. If the value is, actually, let's just deal with, let's see, I'm just trying to think of, I could be planning ahead or I could follow the instructions. I think I'll actually follow the instructions here. So we are just going to deal with park name here. And in this case, if the attribute is missing, and I could select all of those, then I'm going to map it to a new value. Z. Now, this, you have to be careful. Every now and then in Vancouver, people get creative with the naming of parks. It's entirely possible there could be one out there. You probably want to test that first, just to make sure no one has put in a sleeping park. So now when I run this, all of those missing ones will be mapped to Z. So now when I run this through the sorter, all of those features are now dead last. Now I still have to clean this up. So I'll put another null attribute mapper after this. And this one, again, we can choose all the attributes. If the attribute is null, empty, missing, or if the attribute value is Z, I think it was 5 Zs, then I can map all that to null. And that should clean up all of those features now. So now at the end here, those have been mapped to null. Did I map this to everything? All attributes missing or missing, empty, or null, mapped to null. It might only be able to do one of those there. I'll have to play around with that a little bit. I would have expected that to give me nulls for everything. I wonder if I do a negative 9999 there. So we do want to go through and clean up some of these other values as well. So we could just end up in a situation where we have to have multiple nulls there. Let me just go back here, change this a bit. I'll do all attributes. So if it is that, or if it is negative 9999, map to that. Let's see if that captures everything. There, so that got all of them. It's still not catching those missings now. So it looks like I can do this or this. That should have gotten it. That's not actually what I expected there. It's like you have the choice of either doing this or this. It's not if it's this or this, do this. May want to play around with that a little bit. So I'm going to play around with that while you guys work through the exercise and see if I can coax that into working the way I expected it to work. I'm pretty sure that's the way it worked in the past. And otherwise, I may have to look at a regular expression there, but I would have expected that to work. So I'm going to try to figure that out while you guys work through the exercise. Otherwise, we're adding multiple null attribute mappers, and I just don't like using more transformers than necessary. So please do the exercise, and we'll wrap up at 12, let's say 12:58. We'll have a short talk about just wrapping up for today's class and what we'll be doing tomorrow. Okay, so I'll see you in a little over 15 minutes.